Hello and welcome back. I'm Baron Battlebred, your guide through the streets and whispers of Regate. Gather round, you lost folks, as we spiral back to the Timebreakers, trying to rewrite history and change their fates.
Timebreakers, Timebreakers.
When we last left off, the Timebreakers had managed to escape the castle, fairly simply, in fact. Most of them made it out the window unscathed. One of them, well, they're not very athletic. As they crossed the city and made it back to Thaddeus's house, one of the furthest points in the city away from their destination, they decided to take a long rest. And most of them, nothing happened. One of them saw some suspicious-looking guards nearby. And then right at the end, Sarah, two faces in the window staring at you at the end of your shift. What are you going to do?
I pull both of my rapiers.
Yeah, okay. The faces are still in the window.
I stare.
They're staring.
Roll for staring contest.
Yeah, that's very much what I'm going to do. Can I be intimidation?
Yeah.
Just a
You know
nice
what?
roll.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and give me intimidation.
I'm going to change the color of my eyes to red to try to
Okay.
intimidate them.
Mm-hmm.
As we all know, red eyes on a robot means evil, automatically, no matter what.
Clearly evil.
It does. But what was that roll?
9.
9. Well, with a base 15 and a base 19, they're not intimidated. They're staring at you. They haven't moved, Sarah.
I'm staring at them. I'm not moving.
They're staring at you. They're not moving. In fact, they haven't even blinked.
I don't think Sarah has blinked either.
That's true. I have not.
While Sarah hasn't blinked, Sarah generally finds that the people they're staring at usually blink.
Some point.
Huh? They're still staring, Sarah. They haven't moved. What would you like to do?
I'm thinking, who's the closest person to me?
Elise.
I'm going to kick Elise.
Okay.
Without breaking eye contact with the people.
Got it.
Like a gentle tap.
A less gentle, but, not damaging kick.
Fine.
Basically, I'm going to shove them out of their chair.
Got it. So we've come to the end of the long rest. You've all got your long rest. Elise, you are woken up by a kick from Sarah. There is currently, after your long rest, about 130 hours until the sacrifice happens. And Sarah has jostled you awake. What are you up to?
What is the meaning of this? Why? What are you doing?
I'm still staring out the window. I say, look, well, also I have 2 rapiers in my hands.
Sarah's
and my
weapons
eyes
are drawn.
glowing red.
Yeah, Sarah's weapons are drawn. She is looking as intimidating as she can, and she's gesturing for you to look out the window, never breaking eye contact with the window. Elise, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Natural 1 for 6 total, but I was going to say Elise is using detect thoughts.
Whose thoughts are you trying to detect?
The faces in the window.
You're staring at the faces in the window. You are shocked to see 2 faces in the window. And you're even more shocked that you're getting nothing from your detect thoughts. They still haven't moved.
Elise will approach the window for a better look. What are these, figure out what these faces look like. Are they humanoid? Are they, some kind of, maybe they're puppets for a show or something and somebody placed them right there.
Hey, why don't you go ahead and give me an investigation check?
22.
Nice. Elise, you make it to the window. And you give these faces a thorough once-over. And now that you've rubbed the sleep out of your eyes and you can see clearly, these are, in fact, 2 masks set on sticks facing the house.
Robots, they're just masks, as you can see here. Masks placed on sticks.
Okay. Roll your investigation.
7.
Sarah, you're entirely unconvinced. So you do your lap around the house, Elise, Corvatash, Thaddeus, and then you step outside to investigate more. Thaddeus, around this point, you do wake up.
As Thaddeus wakes up and he walks out and he sees this, would it be possible if I could roll a history check to see if I remember something like this happening before? Because it is my house.
Do you want to roll a history check?
To see if it triggers any memories of anything that happened before when I was at home the first time through.
Oh, yes. Yes, go ahead. Roll me your history check with advantage, as this is your house.
25.
This does, in fact, ring a bell, Thaddeus. As you recall, these masks on sticks are going to line the streets to make way for a parade route.
So In my mind, Thaddeus would wake up, he'd be kind of startled, but then it would trigger that memory that this is part of it, and he would turn to Elise and he'd be like, oh, this happened the first time. It's masks for a parade.
That makes sense. I didn't partake too much in the festival the first time around, but masks do seem appropriate.
Neither did I, but for some reason they put these masks lining my entire street. Honestly, I wish they would have just had the parade route somewhere else.
I don't blame you. They're a bit noisy.
Normally they would have, but Thaddeus, you live right next to one of the main roads. Oh no. Sarah,
Well,
as you
how
step
else am I going to
outside-
get my heavy equipment in and out of my house?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you need the big road for the big carts.
Yeah.
Sarah, you step outside and you see masks on sticks all up and down the street. You're not sure when they were put here because you're pretty sure they were not there when you started your shift, but they're definitely here now, and there are a lot of them.
Well, that's weird.
It is weird, but it is currently late evening. It is dark, the stars are out, and the streets of the eastern village have quieted. You look around the outside of the house and you don't see anybody at all. So, it is now evening. You guys have had your long rest. What would you like to do?
Well, Sarah's going to put her weapons away and rejoin the rest of them. And then, since everybody else is awake while they're figuring out what they want, I'm going to work on trying to figure out a mouthpiece for myself still.
Well, when Sarah comes back in, Shimmer is somehow back in existence.
Yeah, no, this is normal.
Yeah, Shimmer pops back
course they
into at the end of 8 hours, so easy enough.
No one questions it, of course, because they're used to it. Maybe Corvatash.
No, Corvatash understands magical items exist outside of his knowledge. So, now that we've all rested, what's the plan?
Well, you and I need to get to Lady Seraphina's house, explain the situation, hide you there.
Yeah, go visit my fiancée. Will it just be the two of us, or are we taking the whole team?
I think it'd be too suspicious if we brought everyone.
Oh, so just you and me?
I think that would probably be best, unfortunately. Less firepower, but can move quicker and more stealthily that way. Draw less attention.
Oh, yeah. Stealth is my middle name.
Good.
Quite a strange middle name, I must say.
It is. My parents were strange people. Lord Hendrid Stealth Corvatash. Kind of a weird name if you think about it.
Agreed. And while you are out, we'll get to the bottom of this letter. Figure out where these assassins plan to meet.
Good plan.
Oh, it's a good plan. All right. So, Shimmer and Corvatash are going to traverse the city to get to Lady Seraphina's house.
Mm-hmm.
Elise, Thaddeus, and Sarah are going to work on the plan to figure out where the assassin was going to go. Is that the goal?
And get something to eat.
And get something to eat. Okay.
Or I assume we were going to eat before we left. Just at Thaddeus' house. We have,
Oh, yeah.
like, he
Thaddeus'
probably has
house.
food in the house.
The only thing I've got that's still in the house is leftovers from last night or earlier.
Okay, so I guess we, never mind then.
Thaddeus does not actually, cook that much in his own home. He more or less goes out to eat.
He doesn't even have snacks?
No, he does this intentionally because he can get lost in his work so easily. Hunger is kind of the only thing that sort of pulls him out of it long enough so that way he can be like, okay, I got to go take a break. So then he just walks somewhere.
Forces him out of the house.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, you guys, Shimmer, you know that you have to go pass through the bazaar anyway in order to get to the bridges that will take you to Upper West Regate so that you can get to Lady Seraphina's house. So picking up something to eat on the way shouldn't be a problem. But
Yeah.
I will say that you have some choices to make here. Because from the Eastern Village, you can either pass through the Upper Ward, where Lord Corvatash is likely to be recognized through his
Absolutely
disguise. You can pass through Watcher's Row, where while Corvatash may not be immediately recognized, he does strike a recognizable silhouette.
He's still in the 31 or whatever it was disguise.
Yes, while he is absolutely in disguise,
So.
it is currently evening time, and passing through Watcher's Row means you pass through where most of the guards hang out.
Yeah.
So anyone who would, say, recognize him from his silhouette rather than his face might be in there. Or you can pass through the Adventurers Guild area, up through Helm's Hollow, and down into the Bazaar. But that would be the longest and most roundabout way.
But it would also be the safest, and we want safe right now. That is why we are doing all this, so we're taking the long way.
Okay. If you are taking the long way, and I assume you are being safe and stealthy about it, all right. Then if that is the goal from Thaddeus's house, getting to Lady Seraphina's house is going to take you about an hour and a half. But I will only require one roll from you. So go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
20. Dirty 20.
Oh, good. Because 100 stealth Corvatash got a 5.
Yeah, that stealth is coming in handy.
Stealth his middle name.
It is now.
It is now. Official canon change.
Because I'm kind of deaf, right? So I'm not 100% sure what you were saying, but it sounded to me like you were saying stealth Corvatash.
Yeah, 100 stealth Corvatash. He told you stealth was his middle name. With I would say the average of this, obviously, Shimmer, you more than make up for the fact that Lord Corvatash is not known for his stealthy nature. He is very used to openly and brazenly walking the streets with no concerns of, being attacked in such a manner. So it takes a little bit. You show him the ropes. Your hour and a half turns into about 2 hours as you have to keep pulling him into alleys or, moving him behind a cart when he sees somebody he knows. Because he goes to wave and say hello and you're like, no, you idiot. We're sneaking. We're sneaking.
That is the exact opposite of what we need right now.
Well,
you are in disguise. They aren't supposed to know you.
You do manage to make it through the city, even stopping to get dinner, right, without incident, despite his unfortunate attempts to ruin the whole situation. Nobody recognizes him, and nothing comes of it. You make it to Lady Seraphina's house. You can see that there are lights on in several of the windows, candles burning, maybe fires burning in fireplaces. Somebody is most likely home. Corvatash just goes up and walks inside. He doesn't stop to knock. He just opens the door and goes in. This is his house too.
Yeah, Shimmer will follow him.
Excellent.
I really love to rain on some stuff here. Lord Corvatash is supposed to be completely unrecognizable to anybody that.
Yeah, I was just about to point that out to him in character.
Lord Corvatash's royalty. Lord Corvatash should have guards in their house to stop random intruders from just waltzing in.
He should. Yep.
Okay, so we're all on the same page.
Yep. We are all on the same page.
Once we walk in, I'm like, you do remember you're in disguise and no one can recognize you right now, right?
What? What do you mean? This is my house. I have a right to be in here.
Yes, but we're going to have to explain the fact that you're you to your fiancée when we see her, because she will not recognize you, because, again, you are in disguise. And she also will not recognize me, because, again, I am also in disguise.
Okay. You managed to say this. He does not have an intelligence modifier, so he rolled a total of a 7, and he just goes, well, we haven't been noticed yet, so maybe we step out and we knock?
Yes, and we will do that, and is there a servant's entrance? Would we be able to just go through the servant's entrance, or something? Would they recognize us? The servants?
They wouldn't recognize us, we're in disguise.
Well, yeah, true. It means we will have to introduce ourselves as new servants to any other servants, or any servants. And we need to get to Lady Seraphina. She is, right now, the only one I trust. So the only one who I would like to know our identity. Your identity, at least.
So I'm hidden from my own servants.
Unfortunately, right now, until we can discuss this with Lady Seraphina, yes.
Oh, because they might be bad.
Yes. You already said your own guards at the castle turned on you.
Yeah, the guards did. The servants didn't.
Yes, but we don't know who we can trust and who we can't. So Lady Seraphina is the only one we can trust, who we know we can trust right now. So we want to discuss this with her before we go any further. So she's the only one who can know who you are.
Got it. Okay, so I think going through a servant's entrance is probably a bad idea. Because if they see us, they're going to wonder who we are and why we're there. We're just going to have to explain a lot of things. Whereas maybe if we knock on the front door, we just go say, hey, we're here to see Lady Artmund. And, they'll go get her for us.
It is late. Would you accept guests at this time normally?
Oh, yeah, I accept guests at all hours.
Then let's do that.
As long as she's not asleep, this should be real easy.
Yes, I'll do that. I will be the one doing the talking as well.
Oh, okay. You'll be the one doing the talking. Gotcha.
I am the one with the massive charisma.
That is true. Okay. Then let's. Do you want to knock on the door, or do you want him to knock on the door?
Yes, I'm going to be the one to knock on the door.
Okay, so you're even knocking on the door. Gotcha. So he's just going to stand behind you and let you do the talking.
Yes.
Roll me a persuasion check or a deception check. I don't know how you want to play this.
A 23.
Wow. Are you telling the truth, or are you trying to lie your way in?
Actually, I want to lie my way in, so I rolled persuasion. I want to lie. So that would be a 24.
Okay, easy enough. While you knock on the door, one of the servants answers. You start sweet-talking your way in. And we are going to take a moment. We are going to jump back to Elise, Thaddeus, and Sarah. Elise and Thaddeus and Sarah, you guys were trying to figure some things out. Sarah was working on how to make a hinged jaw for themselves.
Yes.
Sarah, have you come up with any new plans for such things? Like,
No,
how do you want to handle that?
I did spend a little while investigating that dead assassin.
You did indeed. And what would you like to do with that knowledge?
Was that enough learning done to for me to figure out that a hinged up and down motion with some form of a seal at the meet point would probably be enough?
Why don't you go ahead and roll me? Let's make this fun. You can roll me a flat intelligence check, or you can roll me a medicine check, or you can roll me a nature check.
Medicine for 6.
You take a few minutes and you draw out a rough sketch on what you think a jaw for you would work. You know a nutcracker?
Yeah. No,
Got it.
Around what I'm thinking.
Got it. So, in your head, nutcracker, like the way a nutcracker makes sense, but you've put a rubber seal on the front of it where lips would be considered, and so you're not quite sure how you're going to get the leverage to open it yet. But you know that rubber seal, once it opens, is just going to snap shut. So you're sure that that's going to help.
So it's not a rubber seal. It's like a band that's going to retract in on itself. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's still
like a
going
rubber
to make
band.
a loud like sound when my teeth get back together.
You're not quite sure. You seem to have gotten it a little bit backwards in the sense that the mouth that you have designed here will open very slowly, but will shut very fast. At least, Thaddeus, you guys are trying to figure out how to get the gold that this assassin who was going to kill Lord Corvatash was going to get.
Yes. And also, more importantly for the whole group, but less importantly for Elise, is figuring out who put out the hit and having that as a lead.
That is a good point. Let's see. Elise and Thaddeus, both of you have lived in this city for a while. Probably most of your lives, if not all of your lives. And both of you have dealings with shady individuals of varying degrees. So,
I like your wording of that.
how you know that the assassin's note, all it really said was meet in the usual spot. And based on your previous dealings with shady individuals, you would know that there are a couple of spots around the city where the general public goes to handle their business. How would you go about figuring out which one this assassin might have been headed towards?
Thaddeus would not actually know this because he arrived in the city technically a year before the events of the festival.
While you have arrived in the city, you have lived in the city for however long you have. Obtaining the items that you use to do your tinkering with and the materials that you work with and obtaining them at a price that you personally would pay for them, I would say that you still have some experience in dealing with, say, potentially stolen items.
I don't know what you're talking about, Brett. They fell off the back of a cart.
Yeah. You have dealt with some shady characters. I assume Elise has a deeper understanding of it. Yours is you know that they exist and where you have gone.
I know
to
they
do such
exist,
business.
but I wouldn't know exactly where they would be at this point in time because
God.
the only time Thaddeus really started doing any of the shady side dealings to afford cheaper stuff was after Raygate fell into limbo.
Well, the knowledge of the future helps you in this case.
Yeah, the knowledge of the future would help you in this case. Criminal organizations are people of habit. Once they find a spot that works for drop-offs and collections, they tend to stick with it until it gets raided or something. On that note,
Then
let's
I
start
will
with Elise
assist
then.
Elise.
All right, Elise, based on your background, you have handled shady dealings of many different kinds. Not necessarily for yourself, but for others.
Correct.
Why don't you roll me a history check with advantage, because you'll be bouncing ideas off of Thaddeus, and let's see if you can figure out where an assassin might be making a collection.
23.
Nice. 23. Pretty good. Let me open up the map here. Right. With a 23, it becomes pretty simple in a matter of deduction. You would know that the most likely area for an assassin to make collections would probably be at the edge of the Eastern Village and the Adventurers Guild area. You could find them in the Zealous Horse Tavern, which I believe is down in the Sea Ward, or they would make references to one of the abandoned houses in the Graves.
A few spots. One is near the Adventurers Guild, one is the Zealous Horse Tavern, and another is an abandoned house in the Graves. Those are the ones that immediately come to mind when I'm thinking of an assassin's drop point.
Well, I don't know about an assassin, but typically when I get stuff that falls off the back of a cart, I usually meet up at the tavern.
And that would bring you to your second half of the three-part plan, if my memory serves me. Because one, you needed to figure out location. Two, one of you is going to have to dress up like the assassin. And three, you're going to need some kind of proof that Corvatash is dead in order to collect.
We did say we took his ear, right?
We took the assassin's ear.
Yeah.
I believe you did, yes. So you have an ear that you hope will be sufficient enough to lay claim to the assassin's bid? You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, Elise, Thaddeus, Sarah, if you're going with them, where would you like to go first?
I'm down for following you, Elise, but my only lead that I can think of is the tavern itself.
Elise is going to, not at the moment, but when the time comes, she's going to cast Disguise Self to make herself look like the assassin.
That's an illusion spell, correct?
Correct.
So I would have to roll to see through it, potentially.
But they have to use an action to inspect her appearance and succeed on an intelligence investigation check.
I have an investigation check.
Yes, with an action
Interesting.
specifically.
Got it. So you would have to do something silly. But if you're using that, when the time comes, I will make use of this. So why don't you roll me a deception check now, and I will use that as my basis.
21.
That's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thaddeus doesn't
Okay.
realize that it's a deception in a no.
No, at
The
least I haven't
assassin's back
cast
to
the
life.
spell yet.
How did you
Okay.
get here?
When you come back, pulls weapon.
Sarah, are you going with them?
Yeah, why not?
All right. It is pushing into the late evening now. It is definitely nighttime, and you guys make your way from Thaddeus' house into the Sea Ward to find the Zealous Horse Tavern.
I know the way. Been there
yeah.
quite a few times, especially in the last recent year. Well, the last recent year in the future.
All right.
Especially in 2 years from now.
All right. As you guys make your way to the Zealous Horse Tavern, we're going to jump back over to Shimmer, who has successfully talked the servant at the door into getting Lady Seraphina Artman. She comes down like in a fancy robe, kind of like a dressing gown kind of thing. And she's like, "Yes, hello. It is very late in the evening. What can I do for you?"
Yes, my apologies, my lady. It is quite urgent. May we... and she's going to try and get her to talk to them without the servants nearby.
Okay. How do you want to do that?
Maybe I can get her to send the servants away to do something.
Or you can just simply ask, may we speak privately?
Yeah, oh yeah. May we speak privately? This is a private matter.
You're not there, Sarah.
That is actually a much better plan and more along the lines of what I was thinking originally. But then my brain farted.
That's all good. Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check because you are not somebody that she knows.
23.
Yeah, that's better than my 4. So she stares at you, and then she looks back at the rather large individual behind you. She says, "If it is this urgent, then yes, I suppose do come in. Have a seat. I will send someone to make tea. It's something light, I suppose."
Yes.
Okay. They will... we have a few minutes while they are making things. What is going on?
Okay, so this is a disguise. That is your fiance.
What?
I am Shimmer. That is your fiance.
Direct to the point.
Yeah.
Yes.
No pussyfooting around that one.
I'm leaning closer and whispering, by the way, when I say this.
Okay. Let's suppose for a moment that I believe you. Why?
Assassins tried to kill him.
My fiancé is fairly capable of handling himself. Surely an assassin would be no match for such a man?
Yes, but they still nearly got him. It is not safe.
I see.
We do not know who we can trust. You are the only one whom we trust.
This is quite a claim. If you would permit me, if
sure
assassins, I will confirm his person myself in just a moment. But I do have to ask, if he is targeted by assassins, you bring him home.
We don't know. You are the only person we can trust.
Yes, but surely assassins would know where he lives. Would it not have been safer to come get me and drag me to wherever he was hiding?
They would recognize you. I was able to disguise him better.
Interesting. Well, let me just, I guess, confirm your story here for a moment. And she's going to turn towards him and she's going to say, you are my fiancé? Yes. Do tell, what is my middle name? You don't have one. Yeah, he never remembers. That is good enough. He did not even attempt to make up a lie. Yeah. So, Lord Corvatash, you look ridiculous. Well, she said it was the only way to get here safely. And she's going to turn back towards you and she's going to say, so, who are you exactly? How do I know that you are not an assassin sent to just take us both out at the same time?
I am Shimmer. Lady Shimmer Whitmer. I came to warn you. Remember of the cultists?
Yes. I seem to recall I met you very recently.
I do believe this may be connected to that, which is why, once again, you are the only person I trust.
The circumstances of your arrival, and now the circumstances of your arrival with my fiancé are...
I am
suspicious.
Deeply sorry that...
At best,
I am deeply sorry about all that. I do understand. I am deeply sorry.
Oh, you come to me to warn me about cultists, and then you come to me to warn me that my soon-to-be husband is being attacked.
I just want him to be safe. I do not want him hurt. He was dying when I found him.
You know, most people would not put such interests in people they just met.
It is a long story, truly.
roll me persuasion or performance, depending on how you feel like you're handling this.
23 persuasion. I'm not trying to perform. I'm trying to persuade.
Yeah, that is good enough. And she says, "Okay. So far you have earned my good graces, having forewarned me about terrible activity within the city. And now you have rescued my fiancé. And from your own story, you have saved his life, and you are attempting to continue to do so. So, you seem like a woman with a plan. What do we do?"
We need to stop the cult. That is our only option. But right now, I don't know who to trust other than, well, again, the two of you and my group.
Well, if I remember correctly, there was you, there was me, there was Corvatash here, there was Louis. We also went and we spoke to Prince Verneur.
They attacked the lizard as well. We don't know where he went. He might have gone with them willingly. He might have been captured. We're not sure.
Yeah, he hid me behind a wall and then just kind of disappeared. Oh, this is disturbing news indeed. I feel like this should have been part of the original story.
Well, yes, indeed. I was more focused on Lord Corvatash.
I thank you.
I'm gonna actually explain the whole story of everything that happened at the castle tour.
Okay.
To my knowledge.
Got it.
And have Corvatash explain what happened with him.
Got it. So as you two sit down, tea comes. You wait for you get your tea. You get a snack. The servants leave the room again, and you share as much of the story as you know at this point. While this conversation is going on, we jump back to Elise, Thaddeus, and Sarah standing outside the Zealous Horse Tavern.
Looks particularly seedy, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly looks in better condition than it was 3 years from now.
That's messed up.
I'll need to. So we discussed the plan about disguise self.
Yes.
Are we assuming that Elise has already done the disguise self spell, or she's going to retreat somewhere out of sight and then disguise herself in an alleyway so nobody can witness?
Well, I feel like as the game master here, you have a couple of options that can work. You guys can go into the tavern as yourselves first, see if you can, figure out who might be waiting for an assassin to show up, or you can disguise yourself now and go in and hope that you can find them before the spell wears off. So however you think you would handle that.
Kind of both at the same time. If
Elise, will you figure out what you're going to do? I'm walking in. I'm getting something to eat.
Jealous.
So the disguise self spell only lasts for about an hour, right?
Yeah, correct.
So if you cast it prematurely and you go in and say you can't find the guy, or the guy shows up late, then you'll only have a very small amount of time to handle your business before the spell wears off and something potentially goes wrong. Whereas if you wait for somebody who you think it might be first, then you can leave, cast the spell, come back, and interact with them immediately.
True.
It's all about how you want to manage your time here.
The thing I'm thinking of is they're gonna see somebody they don't recognize paying an awful lot of attention to them. Assuming we even guess right in the first place that this is the person who hired an assassin. And it's not like I can only cast this spell once.
Oh, how many times can you cast the spell?
6 times? If I use all my spell slots?
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, we can go in and look around. Before anything else happens, we can go in and look around.
Okay. So you all walk in? Sarah, do you walk in as well?
Yeah.
All right, easy enough. Everybody walks in.
Well, Thaddeus was already in getting something to eat.
Got it. Thaddeus goes, do you find a table? Do you find a bar? Do you go straight to the bar? How do you want to handle that, Thaddeus?
Thaddeus has a usual spot that he sits at the bar.
Got it.
At least it's a usual spot 3 years from now.
Yeah. You see that there aren't too many patrons in the building tonight. There's a party group over at one of the long tables taking up all the spots there. There's maybe 2 or 3 people at the bar itself. A couple of people sitting in the comfy chairs by the fire, just drinking drinks and telling stories. So you saddle up to saddle up. You sidle up to the bar and sit down in what
It's a theme restaurant. It's got saddles for stools.
The zealous horse has saddles for stools. God damn it. Don't do that to me.
So yeah, the saddle stools that they have there because it's themed.
They do now, I
They
guess.
do now.
You go up and you sit on one of the saddle stools. And there's a dwarf behind the bar. Big, stocky individual. Just, what do you want?
Uncle Thomas?
What do you want?
My usual. Wait, hang on. I got to tell you what my usual is before it becomes my usual. So Thaddeus will order, in fact, like an ale and also a mutton, lettuce, and tomato sandwich.
Pretty good. The dwarf is going to stare at you just a
Well,
little
it's not
bit
really a
weird.
sandwich. It's more like a mutton, lettuce, and tomato with some bread, which he does kind of stick together.
Red meat
After learning
bread.
about, how to... Yeah, exactly.
Like, sandwiches didn't exist until meat bread came in.
Right. Which is funny because he never actually ate at Bread Meat Bread. He normally would just order something like that and he'd stick it together intuitively.
Well, that's okay. He's gonna look. He's gonna come back with your plate of ingredients and your ale, and he's gonna say 4 silver.
Okay.
Holler if you need a refill. And he's gonna go back
Yep.
to doing his stuff.
Just remember, this is Thaddeus, and this is my usual.
Weird.
Still not the weirdest patron that he's had in this bar.
No.
So, Elise and Sarah, you guys also walk in. You see Thaddeus at the bar, sitting on a saddle stool, straddling a saddle stool, I guess would be the case. What would you like to do?
Straddling it, huh?
That's what they do. Fuck you for making saddle stools.
Elise will grab her own saddle stool at the bar.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, okay. Elise jumps up on the remaining saddle stool. And what would you like to do?
She'll just order a mug of ale so she doesn't stand out, but she's not going to drink it very quickly, if at all.
Okay. 2 silver.
She slides the 2 silver along the bar.
Thanks. All right, Elise. You're here. You're drinking. Well, you're holding onto your ale to look like a normal bar patron. What's your goal?
We're looking for somebody who might have hired an assassin. We're on a reconnaissance mission.
All right. Go ahead and give me a look around with perception.
22.
That's not bad. You look around the space here, and the first thing that you notice is that everyone here that you can see is part of a group. Like, there's no shady character, sitting off by themselves in a dark corner. There's no one that gives you those seedy, I hired somebody to kill somebody important vibes. But as you look around, you do see that there is a room kind of off to the side where you presume a place, I want to, like a VIP
legally
kind of
challenged.
area.
Person with meat.
A space that is more privatized as it is. Like, behind a closed door, there's a large room on the other side.
Elise will pay attention to the comings and goings of that room.
Yeah, okay. With your perception roll, you stare at it. You can see that there are shadows moving under the door through the light of whatever is spaced on the inside of it. But let's say you're here for, half an hour, maybe an hour. Nobody's gone in or out. While Elise is staring at this door, Sarah, you're in a bar.
You know what? I'm getting fancy ale. How much do I have? I want not fancy ale. Fancy like fucking liquor.
You want the fancy liquor?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull out this book here. 1 second. The fancy liquor, they have, let's see. The fanciest liquor that they have, let's see. They've got ales, punch, cider, stouts, meads. Evermead is the most expensive thing. It's 12 gold for a glass. They've got rum, claret, czar, sherry, and brandy, and then several different wines,
Brandy.
whiskeys. Fruit liqueurs. Would you like a fruit liqueur?
Brandy.
Brandy.
You're a fine girl.
All right. Almond brandies. Would you like the Moonshay or the Mintarn?
Surprise me.
Well, weirdly enough, they cost the same for a bottle, but they different amounts of cups.
What?
It's different prices for cups, but they cost the same per bottle. So, would you just like a bottle? It's 1 silver piece.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. You now have a bottle of Moonshay almond brandy. It's very nice. So, Elise, you've been watching this door. Thaddeus, you've been eating dinner. And Sarah has been... Are you drinking this bottle? Are you, what are you doing with this bottle of brandy, Sarah?
So, I'm going to hold it for a while, and then on our way out, I'm going to shove it in my chest compartment.
Got it. So, you are, I guess, playing with a bottle of brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. After about an hour and a half, I would say, of sitting there, Elise, the shadows in that room have stopped crossing the doorway. And you're, I would say, getting kind of annoyed at the fact that you haven't seen anybody and you've been here for so long, when suddenly, hang on, let me roll a dice here, see what happens. Wow. A lone figure walks in through the main door and steps into the room and shuts the door behind them. With your previous perception roll, why don't you roll me an insight check? I will give you advantage.
That is 18.
That's pretty good. All right. With an 18, this is most likely the kind of character who you're looking for. They're dressed similarly to the assassin previously. So whether they did the hit or they were part of a team who did the hit, you're not sure. But since they are headed into, I guess the VIP room, there's a good chance that the person you're waiting to meet is in there.
Elise will give a nod to Thaddeus, head for a private room where there's nobody, cast her disguised self while not being observed, and then head for that room.
Excellent. You have disguised yourself as the assassin whom you killed, and you are headed towards the VIP room. You're standing
really quickly,
outside the doorway. Yes.
That seems way more sus because you're walking into a room and then the assassin walks out of it.
Elise, would you like to roll me a stealth check? At least initially?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, making sure that you can Clark Kent that.
30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nobody sees you go into the room, and nobody sees the assassin come out of the room. Like, as far as anyone else is concerned, that room hasn't been touched all night.
Nice.
Nice.
You find yourself standing in front of the doorway to the VIP room. You are dressed as the assassin. Thaddeus is staring at you. Thaddeus? What, you saw, you know that Elise is doing this. What are you up to,
I know
Thaddeus?
Elise is doing this. I'm not paying any attention. I'm just there for backup. So in the meantime, I'm just, basically eating and straddling my stool.
Thaddeus stays at the bar. Sarah is still playing with their
and
bottle
drinking
of brandy. And Elise is headed to the VIP room by herself.
Telepathically, she's going to say, all right, I'm going in. I'll let you know if anything happens.
And as you push your way, you open the door to step into the VIP room. And as you do, that is where we're going to cut the episode today.
Cliffhanger.
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 I will stab you all. Anyway, that's all for now. But when we return next episode, I'm sure the Timebreakers will continue to impress us. Is Shimmer going to blow up her relationship with Lady Seraphina just to get her point across? And will Elise manage to step in and handle this by herself, since Thaddeus is getting drunk at the bar and Sarah has a new intrigue with a bottle of brandy? I don't know, but we'll find out next time. You can come join the Discord, link is in the description, and help us build the city from the inside. The Zealous Horse Tavern was built by an individual who came and joined us. The way it looks, the people inside of it, it's all pretty interesting. You can leave a rating, leave a review, and tell us how you really feel. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
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 Bye.